Welcome back, everyone. Game number 2 on the horizon, and hopefully ready for your viewing pleasure. Nebraska Esports came off with a roaring start with some very unique mains that came out to play, and also stole MVP. Navy, we were discussing this. The Apollo looked too dang good. Whether in a pit comp, whether in a 1v1, it looked amazing.
The Apollo was pristine. If that is left on the board, I shudder to think of what could happen.
That's true. And what? I gotta ask, because you look at the composition, it didn't really feel like they were gonna synergize quite well in terms of building up a DPS. Normally you have a little bit more safety in there, normally you have something like a Page, a setup, Mo, and Curl or something when it comes to kind of like that assassin 1v1 or anything like that. How do you feel Nebraska did in building out Apollo, or building out Cloud, because Cloud really did get help even though it was 5 DPS on the board?
I think it's mostly what happened is that Cloud was given the chance to move to where the kills are, locate. Like, the DPS's job was to soften up and to make the others weak, either by lowering their health bars enough for Cloud to swoop in and take it, or by just weakening them in general. So that way, when Cloud eventually showed up, that assassination had no obstruction. And I think the reason why the entire team did really well is because they knew that they were confident in their 1v1s. All the players knew that they could find a player on the other team and take them reliably, which is why this sort of like mass assassination was able to succeed.
All right, I like that breakdown. That was very, and now that you mention it, it does kind of shine through in that factor. A lot of this did come from a lot of the movements, after the laning phase came through, you could see the conglomerations always like, hey, if I spot someone, I'm going to go fight them. I'm going to go take them. Hey, Apollo, come this way, or, Cloud, come this way, or that way. It was very, very impressive. And there was a point where after a while, it was just like, hey, Cloud, go that way. I know there's someone over there. Just go take him out, and that is what you want a DPS to be able to do. After a while, it's just like, we will take kills. I like it. We are now swapping sides, though, as for Nebraska Esports, they're the ones now banning out the Celeste, saying, I don't want to deal with that one. It's a little bit surprising, though. I feel like a top team should have a good handle on Celeste if you want that type of victory. And there's the Apollo, though. It makes sense. Hey, I love this for the Patriots. You see it, you hate it. I don't want to deal with it.
Yep. You know what? If I knew that Apollo gameplay was a possibility, I would do everything in my power to get rid of it.
That's 100% fair. I would too. It's just, it's brutal. And now they grab the Mirage. Now, remember, this was banned out by the Patriots or by Nebraska Esports before on their game 1 side. So a little bit of a shift in identification of where they want to focus, but still grabbing a very strong DPS to start. Now it's the Patriots' time, though, to grab the priest and the crossbow.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. I can't say this for certain, but I imagine that Mirage might take a similar role as Apollo did last game, constantly moving around and getting the kills. And with that ult, the ability to go wherever you want, it's only going to make that a lot easier. Instead of having to walk over there and get to the kills, which, that's exhausting, you could just pop your ultimate, show up in blue or green lane, get a few kills, and then go back. It's great. Yeah. It's like Uber Eats for kills.
Uber Eats with kills, just without the massive amount of fees that go into it as well. It's out of your own pocket. You worked hard for that money, and you'll use it as you wish. Looking at the IV build-up, though, George Mason are still kind of focused on that ability of having that CC, having that ability to stall out. The problem means now is that you are foregoing some of that DPS once more. Silver coming out for Nebraska Esports. Patriots are quickly losing a lot of the DPS value that they had back in game number 1.
Losing a lot of options here, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think one thing that George Mason University needs is a little more setup. They need to get as much utility in there as possible, so that way when there's a kill on the board, they can secure it with absolute certainty.
Okay. I like that idea. The Holiday coming in as that backup DPS style. I like that build in. First 3 rounded gives University of Nebraska-Lincoln a very strong setup for George Mason University. They're still wondering what they're going to bring in the third. Now, if I remember correctly, it was a Moe and Krill ban out in the third, but it was also the likes of the Kelvin. So an idea being made as now the Kelvin is fully brought out, gives time for George Mason to stall if they need to with that Ice Dome.
Indeed. And I kind of just actually had an idea. We were talking about how Nebraska didn't have a ton of utility last game, but I kind of feel like Holiday is playing the role of utility with the bounce pad and the Spirit Lasso, because I don't know much about Holiday, but I do know that her other two abilities aren't the strongest. But I do know the bounce pad is great for mobility, and I do know that the Spirit Lasso is amazing for CC, and I think that's what Nebraska Esports is prioritizing at the moment.
Okay. I like that call out, that idea of, hey, you know, have that kind of extra value in the back. We are looking pocket banned out this time as well. It feels like the Patriots have an understanding that the pocket could be a huge detriment for them if they're not careful. Good ban out, maybe slowing down what Nebraska Esports were looking for. Final ban though, once again, Moe and Krill. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun in there as well.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. We're
Moe
done.
and Krill.
We're done. Just don't want to deal with
no
them.
Moe and Krill. No Moe.
I hate that I missed that one. I hate that I missed that one. Gosh dang it, that was good. That was really good. No Moe, Moe and Krill. That is the line that we will be using. And looking for this fourth pickup, George Mason. They're still lacking on the DPS. I think on the DPS train, they're very, very lacking here. So I do want to see a build up, and they're going to grab the haze. So, okay, taking a lot of pieces out of the Nebraska Esports page or playbook.
I will say though, Nebraska Esports has a lot of pages in that playbook. It's like War and Peace. Mostly War. There's not a lot of peace in there.
Yeah, okay, that's also fair. I would agree with that one. Eyes out for what exactly they are going to play at the end of the day.
Ooh,
And
guys,
I like it. Okay, so still like the pocket, in my opinion, having that sustainability factor with the ultimate. If you're able to get that HP swap off, you can sustain through in just about any assassin at the end of the day. But maybe not as much utility in the back of the bank there. So we'll see what they finally opt for. This pick 5 will be very fun to understand. I wonder if they are going to bring at least a little bit of CC into this. A little bit more extra. No, the Doorman. Okay, so well, that is CC. Doorman's good. Doorman's good.
More shenanigans. Can't wait.
It's never ending. Just the bullying, the annoyances, just
But
rude
has
factors.
more horrors to show you.
Oh yeah, but there it is. Okay, so Patriots are going to be looking at the Abrams. So this is a much heftier frontline buildup that is centered around this Haze and Priest to come out here. I am very curious if it will work. Very, very curious.
Yeah. And the Lash. I don't know if this is enough damage. Honestly. It might be. It kind of depends on how much mileage that Haze and Venator gets. Because a Haze is going to be good for objective damage, and a Venator is going to be good for player damage, but that's just 2. Sync. Oh, right. Doorman and Sinclair on the same team. I'm scared. I'm scared, Orbital. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be nothing good.
You sounded very confused about that pickup, and now I'm worried that you've never seen this pickup overall. So that is a very funny reaction to have. We'll see if it works though. University of Nebraska-Lincoln locking in some more DPS, a little bit of CC in there, but George Mason bringing the frontal DPS overall. So we're gonna go down the line. Obviously, Nebraska Esports. We talked about the 5 DPS composition. I want to bring your eyes to the Patriots side. Navyblue, do you like what they have built more than they did in game number 1, or do you think it's about the same, or maybe a little bit more difficult to pull off here?
I like it better than what they had in game 1, but I still don't know if it's enough.
Fair.
They did do what I think that needed to happen. There's a lot more setup here. Almost every single one of these characters has some ability to benefit their team. You got 4 characters who are more support-based. I'm going to lump Abrams in there, mostly for the tank aspect and for that ultimate. And Haze and Venator are going to be there to do damage. But again, it's going to be most only Haze and Venator doing damage. I kind of wanted to see a 3v3, you know? Again, I don't think that's. I think what's going to end up happening is that George Mason's going to stall out, especially during team fights. They're going to be able to set things up, right? They're going to have players locked down, and they're going to make it difficult for Nebraska esports to kill them. But George Mason isn't going to be able to kill Nebraska esports. And then I think Nebraska esports is just going to wear them down with sheer power. Because that's what Nebraska esports has right now. That is a lot of power.
Yeah. You know what? I'll agree with you on that point. I think we did have one of the harder situations for the Patriots to overcome was the fact that they weren't able to kind of cut through some of these DPS values in the early stages. And CC is great. Do not get me wrong. CC is always great when it comes to like the Abrams, you know, the Grand Slam or anything like that. But when you're in a situation where you just don't have the early firepower, an opponent can run you over, an opponent can outscale you. Heading into game 2, though, as University of Nebraska already start with the freaking kill. First blood for Nightman off rip. That is wild.
Where is he? Yeah, it is. Wait, we're not even a minute in? I didn't even catch that. I thought we were like a few minutes in.
No,
I blinked.
what?
I shouldn't have blinked.
That is crazy to think about. Let's talk about this because we rarely see kills that early into a game, right? Because that can set you back so far in a match.
Oh yeah.
One of the big things is getting the early souls rounding, get some of your extra ability bumps in there, right? Like you need to keep pace with the opposing team. I feel like when it comes to Deadlock, a big part of the game is you do not have to worry about, you know, getting kills all the time. It's more about getting those spirits, hitting those souls breakthroughs. When you lose out your life that quickly, that hurts.
It does. And I think even if it doesn't matter, because I do think it matters for gameplay wise, Nebraska esports is already at a Souls advantage, but I think even more importantly, they're at a mental advantage. If you die not even a minute in, that already sets a bad precedent, and I think that it's going to take some serious mental fortitude to be able to push past this and continue to play optimally.
Well, you can already see that I feel like for the last, you were understanding. I made a mistake. I got to break through, and I got to fight back once more. It is going to be Cloud on the Sinclair falling to their backup carry here. But having that early kill will already start them off in a good state of mind. You can see the dance back. Doesn't want to get a hit on that lash side. And we'll see if it works. A quick little pillar there from the Ivy as well. There's a very low DPS output, but here's a catch on the back end. It looks like for University of Nebraska-Lincoln, they're the ones caught out in a bad spot. Doorman running for the hills for the moment just to try and stay a little bit safe.
Indeed. It's a lot of hijinks. I think Nebraska is going to be riding high almost assuredly in this match. And it's going to be a matter of if George Mason University is able to capitalize on their mistakes that they might make. Because I feel like pushing up that far was a little risky, let's be honest. It was a little risky. And it's up to Nebraska esports either to play this well or George Mason University to capitalize on this. The opportunities they are given.
I 100% agree with you. We'll see if it can work for them. Nebraska esports already putting themselves in a nice spot. You can see the Holiday roaming a little bit, but will it be enough of a Garner to start getting kills to match pace with what we're going to see even more? We are seeing Hayes here hold their own Kiko kick on the Hayes as they're giving themselves a really nice setup here. This Hayes will try and be a big win. And keep in mind, Kiko Kick, I believe, coming in as a sub here in this series. Last minute substitution coming in for the side of the Patriots. So big shout out to Kiko Kick for stepping in at the last moment here and trying their best just as well. Oh, on the other side, great kill. Nightman getting taken out as Arctic takes victory.
That is quite some damage coming from the Sinclair bolts. I know Sinclair's a hard character to use, but I do have quite a bit of faith in Cloud. We saw his work on Apollo, and now we're going to see his work on Sinclair. The Magician will get it done.
Very impressive overall, and I can only imagine it's going to continue here as for University of Nebraska-Lincoln. They're setting themselves up. It's a lot slower pace. I do think the kills came in at about 6 minutes, 6.5 is where we really saw a brunt of them come through. But the fact that we actually saw Nebraska Esports get run out of their own laning phase, at least once, I'll be very curious to see if it happens once again. This Kelvin already causing a little bit of mayhem as well, slowing down some of the advances from the opponents.
I'm seeing some good things from George Mason University at the moment, specifically by Nightman, because Nightman is playing Gun Ivy, and I think that might be what we need to make this a 3v or 3 damage, 3 support comp that I was looking for. That evens out the numbers, and I think it gives me confidence in them.
That's fair. That's fair. If it gives you confidence, that's huge. Hopefully, it brings a little bit more to the table as well. Nebraska Esports, they are slowly rolling their way into a gathering of all the crates, clearing out a lot of that jungle, making sure that they're set to go. And now maybe looking for a bit of a gank. You can take a look on the left side battlefield. That is going to be Cloud rounding their way in, jumping in for the battle. Is the damage going to come through? Nope, not just yet. Good back away by the Patriots.
Those bolts are dangerous. I think they're going to be absolutely dramatic by mid to late game. Like, entire halves of health bars being deleted in instants.
Might be what we see right away. Good catch, number 1. A little bit of a dance out of range here. As the chase is on in more ways than one. Patriots definitely firing back in more ways than one, which I highly appreciate. Nice little fly in. Love that call. Getting back to the lane as soon as possible. And keeping Georgia Mason very much set apart. No way for them to highly aggress.
That Mirage push was just another example of Nebraska Esports being very confident in giving George Mason University opportunities. But it's a matter of capitalizing on those opportunities, because Nebraska Esports is not one to be caught out so easily.
I do wonder if they're going to start pushing the envelope a little bit. This is around the time that they started kind of tower diving, trying to jump those Guardians and see how much they could get away with, as we're seeing it right here. I think a parry came out and forced that Abrams low. But Pork the Pig is able to stay alive for just a moment at the very end. That could have been way worse for them. I think at the end of the day, another couple of picks puts kick into the dumpster. So it might not be kills specifically in the hands for University of Nebraska-Lincoln, but it's a lot of time being given with the waves, with the creeps, and giving themselves victory that way.
Indeed. Currently, it looks like we're experiencing a bit of a lull in gameplay in terms of kills, and a lull means anything where there's not a kill every 90 seconds, so... I spoke too soon. I'm so sorry.
You willed it into existence. That is the most impressive caster blessing I've ever heard, I think. Or curse, I should say.
I guess. I am, like... I hope I don't abuse this power.
It is very dangerous. Use it wisely, young Padawan. Another look as an option, and there it is. Even more kills on the table. Another pair to come out here as the Lady Geist is looking to turn the tables onto your face. Shromo ready to dance in their face. Like Nessie takes out Cloud, though, who got a little bit too big for the britches. But the chase down to the Abrams ain't gonna work as Shromo takes their life.
I think 1 in 3 parries actually parried anything, and there was a lot of parries in that fight. It's kind of funny.
A lot of availability, and now I'm wondering what's going to happen, because Nebraska Esports, like clockwork, take nearly 3 kills. They start looking at the lane advantages that they're going to get and maybe forcing down those Guardians.
I think... Oh, look at this. Holiday is rotating over, and so is... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, so is Mirage. I'm wondering if this Holiday is going to be ganking or just farming lane. Or farming jungle. I think this is a gank.
Oh, okay. Let's see if it is going to be one. A little bit of a dance. There it is. Neptic jumps right in as a Lycan curse rears its ugly head. And unfortunately, there is no silver stake. Well played. Coming in from the side of Neptic to take victory over that one.
Incredible work. Quite a dramatic tower dive there.
I wonder if it's going to be more here. I mean, this is already looking like Nebraska Esports are just kind of pushing
Do they know?
the envelope.
They don't know.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, here we go.
A little bit of a
Here's
jump
another-
backwards. Yeah, that was
Okay,
that
I
was
think
dangerous.
they're out.
That was very dangerous.
Whew. I was kind of sweating there for George Mason. I think that I kind of misinterpreted the map, and I thought that they were behind the lane.
Okay. That makes a bit more sense. I was curious what was going on, but at the same time, I think they're going to do just fine. Ice Stone being used, though, as the hut is only used for a moment. And it gives time for Loch Nessie to get the Guardian, so that is Guardian down, but you will lose lives on the other side. Neptic locks out Nightman on the far end. But here comes that chase even further. I love this opportunity. The Walker will get chased by Laser to your backside, but the Lash ult will grab one, and you stun them out, slam to the back end.
100 health.
But you're able to dance away. Can you get the shots off? Very low at the end. Healing for a moment. Teammates here to save! What an opportunity! Cloud, who is not around, says, I got you, bro.
That was incredible. The ability to have such confidence in your teammates that they would come to rescue you is impeccable. That is the sign of amazing work from the side of Nebraska.
I don't think anyone was really expecting that. That's an opportunity and a half right there. Huge props to the team, but my gosh, let's see if it goes even further. Quick laser coming out as another dome comes into play. They're going to try and lock down one, but the HP bars might not be in their favor. The Lightning Curse comes on out to swipe, and unfortunately, it's the Venador to walk a little bit further away. I don't know if the damage is enough, though, as the Lightning Curse runs away. Silver able to get back to safety. Really nice utilization of the ultimate to stay alive for the moment, but it gives time. That was another Guardian going down, plus an earn run. Huge win for Nebraska Esports here. Oh? Shot. Yep, shot on the back foot. I was wondering what's going on. Huge meeting of the minds here on the right side battlefield. Everyone taking a little bit lower for their lines, and I don't think Loch Nessie likes that bend over backwards by sometime once more on the Mirage. And it feels like Nebraska Esports are cleaning up as an overextended George Mason Patriots try and finish off Neptic and Arctic. It ain't gonna work in their favor, though, as sometime just gets everything that they could ask for. Overextension upon overextension leads to a 9K Souls lead.
Indeed. Looks like Calvin was left with a cold shoulder as he was left alone trying to survive against the rest of Nebraska Esports. Unfortunately, he got iced over and got sent back to base.
Very tough spot.
I feel like a finals commentator with all these puns. I apologize.
It's okay. Hey, you're having fun. That's all that matters, right? You're having fun. You're enjoying your time. That's what we care about here, okay?
Indeed.
That's what we care about. Yeah, that's a
20 health?
I mean, they've done it before, let's be honest. Nebraska Esports have literally lived on 10 before.
These are the risks that we have been seeing coming out from Nebraska. Oh, ooh. Ooh. I'm so sorry.
Navy, we gotta talk to you. Like, we gotta set you aside. We gotta talk about all these, you know, caster curses. Like, someone's gonna get mad at you after a while. I hope you know that.
I guess. All right. Well, for my next trick, I'm gonna make this lash disappear. Shut up.
Hey, there it is. Nothing with a shot from downtown. Navyblue calls in a black and white scenario. Neptic runs over yet another. And it's Nebraska Esports to challenge the Patriots over on the left side, Walker, forcing them to pay the price.
I'm calling these in like airstrikes. Like, yeah, sometime take them out.
It's a rude station to be in, but for Nebraska Esports, it's a well-earned kind of respite here. They've now gotten back to that point, like they did in game number 1, where they can just kind of take over the battlefields, and it's about locking down George Mason and forcing George Mason to be on the defensive a little bit more. You can see the runaway onto Loch Nessie, who is chasing into a very awkward state, but I do wonder if Nebraska Esports are going to start looking at that mid-boss, looking to try and kind of close things out.
Indeed. This has been a lot faster of a game than last one, hasn't it?
I would say a little. I think we're on pace to be at about the same rate in there. That's about all I can see, though. I will be honest.
Excellent. I'm not entirely sure what George Mason's play here is. I feel like there should be an urn at some point. That's a good starting point, but that's a micro play in this grand scheme of things. I'm not quite sure what their plan for a macro play would be, to be honest. Um, I'm definitely thinking there should be a lot more deathballing, a lot more grouping up and just roaming about the map as a group, trying to get those kills. I think utilizing Kelvin's ice path as sort of like a mass transit system could be promising.
All right. I can agree with that one at the end of the day. I appreciate that. We'll see if it does work, however, as we are currently in this state of the game where it's 3 Guardians versus 2. Time is kind of a wasting for Nebraska Esports as they're just waiting for the boons to come on up. Extra buffs always feel good at the end of the day. And it has been covered by Nebraska most times, often than not. And they've gotten a lot of value out of them.
Indeed. It does look like Nebraska Esports is grouping up as you see them over on the green/blue side of the map. I wonder if they're plotting stuff. They're plotting Earn. That's what they're over there for. I think Nebraska Esports recognized that Earn was George Mason's game, and they wanted to move there in preparation.
I mean, it's a very easy call here as the Lycan Curse comes out once more. It will be Neptic to try and run over the opponent, force them away a little bit further, and chase them all the way back to spawn. Easy ult call. No major kills, but the Earn is being run as he called earlier on. Right now, we're watching Groovy Lemon try and defend this Walker as well, but as you called out, it will be an Earn trace. 2 meeting on the mines. The Abram and the Haze will cut off the doorman here.
Maybe.
I mean, kick okay.
That would be the play here, but I hope Arctic doesn't get away with this.
No. Well, here's the thing. It's a diversion. Take a look on the right side of the battlefield. That's a Walker down. Cloud was able to get a solo kill onto Groovy Lemon and knock away the Walker as well, which diverts a lot of attention and means Nebraska Esports are now able to funnel in 3 more into this Earn call-out, and it's everything just kind of falling their way. The bait and trap was sprung successfully as Nebraska Esports claim the Earn and take lives as well. No one can stand in their way as George Mason University lose 1, lose 2, lose 3, and will lose a possible 4th. Almost everyone on their side is either dead or retreating.
Another X. Oh no. I didn't call this one into this time, I promise. I don't think Kelvin's making it.
Nope.
That's quite the ragdoll.
It hurts to see a delayed team finish as in comes the lash from top down. Loch Nessie trying to save that Walker. And it looks like for Nebraska Esports, they will pay the price at the end. Another refreshed ult's coming out here. Well timed, or actually it was a Sinclair doubled. I mean, that hurts, and the bell to end it. Arctic takes the finish at the end. Yes, you lost Stromo and Woody, but honestly, it's 2 deaths for a majority share of the map. Big win by Nebraska Esports.
Indeed. I will say, using Doorman ult on Abrams is so mean. Abrams does not have the mobility to get out. That's like, you can't do that to him.
I mean, it is tough. It is tough. We'll see if they can continue, though, as we're looking a little bit more forward into this game. And I'm curious because Nebraska Esports, you called it earlier and didn't really respect it, which I apologize for, Navy. It does feel like they're on faster track to finish off this game, right? It really does feel like, yes, the early start, 7.5 minutes makes sense, but it does feel like they are pushing ever faster. That's going to be a great lockdown, but the Lycan Curse is used to escape once more. Great ult from the Silver. It's never ending, I feel, for Neptic, who this time around is going to get caught. It was a 4-man chase down. You can escape 4 hunters sometimes. Now you're on the wrong side of the battlefield, though. George Mason getting tethered in and forced to escape the hotel once more. That is a brutal showing as the cost is paid for the rundown. And I don't think Kiko Kick is getting out of this one.
I think we're starting to see some of the cost disparity when it comes to picking off isolated targets.
Yep.
When George Mason gets a pick, it's usually a full team endeavor. Lots of very powerful abilities and even ults coming out to make sure that happens. Whoa, that's great, Portal. But for when Nebraska Esports, it usually takes 2 or even just 1 player to take an isolated target and send them back to base. Like this.
Yep.
Soon that Venator will be heading back to base in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
I was a bit late.
Yeah. No, you were a bit early, but I think the chase down is still going to yield your correct assumption. Fail to the back end to slow them down. Good heals come out from the other side, but it's just too much damage to kind of deal with at the end of the day. Groovy Lemon dropping on down below the battlefield. Maybe they were able to escape. It feels like Nebraska Esports are willing to hard chase because they found another juicier target. It was Nightman instead that they were going to run. There's the finisher. You called it out, Navy. Great kill on the Groovy Lemon. And remember, all the walkers are down. Multiple members are down. Nebraska Esports say, this is the freest mid-boss that I think we've ever seen.
I think this is. It's got their name on it. Yeah. And, you know, back in my day.
Back in my day. Wild call right there. Okay.
Nebraska Esports had a bit of a reputation for not being good at confirming rejuvenators. It was a bit of a recurring habit, but I'm glad to see that we've kicked it since then.
Very much so. No problems abound, all three in their pocket, and now they can chase even further. Only the mini Guardians stand in their way.
This Lash is in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pick comp, right? This Dorman has gotten such an accelerated usage in so many different ways. That's another cast thrown to your backside. And it feels like George Mason, they're never going to have an open 6v6. It's just death upon death upon death upon death. They will lose the Abrams as well, who tries to slam down on the back end, but Nebraska Esports were more than ready for it. 21 minutes. They are looking to close out this game.
Indeed. Excellent work coming from Nebraska. And it's time to push it in. Victory is close. All you have to do is close your hand and seize it.
23.5 minutes was what the call was last time. They have 2 minutes if they want to beat their record from before. University of Nebraska, they take one shrine. Will the next happen? Quick Lash ultimate, though. Death Slam being used. Thrown straight into the base. And it will be a problem to be had, though, but no major damage to come out. Woody will be burned of that Reju bead. All Reju beads being utilized here. And a breakout in turn. It's a quick shattering of the HP bars, as that will be Drasdalia falling number one. The Ice Dome will keep the collective, but it also locks George Mason into the battlefield. I don't know if they like that. Sometimes runs kick into the spawn. And it's destruction in more ways than one. George Mason losing almost all their lives but 3. University of Nebraska locking one away inside the hotel. And the final shrine will fall.
Doorman cleaning up everybody like it's just classic room service. This is going to be brutal.
Half of the Archmother is annihilated. Your safety mechanism is gone. You will be vulnerable. But I don't think Nebraska Esports can finish. They're going to spend their souls and back away as the Patriots gather for one last defense.
Now is the final time to rally. And while victory is unlikely, it is not gone just yet. There is a universe in which George Mason University takes this back. The main question is it this one?
Let's see if they can
in terms of strategy, I will admit that George Mason is looking quite low, or not a lot of options lie available to them. You could get some picks, but I don't know if that anyone would be so isolated for long enough.
That's fair.
Speaking of isolated, this haze is gone.
It's just never ending. It really feels like this is going to be that last rush. They do not have one of their primary DPS available, as that's going to be a disconnect by accident. It looks like tech pause at the tail end of this game.
Ooh.
Oh,
looks like someone accidentally yanked a cord.
Yeah. A little bit of a rough spot.
The magician disappears.
I mean, let's be honest, though. This is amazing from Nebraska Esports. I think you talked about them before, and watching how they play, I think this is a very important aspect of just this is what you want to see out of a playoff team, right? This
Oh, yeah.
early start to the matchups, early into the playoffs, you want to see them in top form.
And it's looking very, very promising right now. And I won't say that. The good news is, like, if we keep this pace up, a victory will be assured in no time.
Yeah.
Um,
I think for them as well, it's very important that, you do close it out in good standing. You don't want to slip up here. You don't want to make any mistakes. And granted, I don't think they will. You are hoping that, of course, Cloud comes back. And I gotta ask. I think this game around, Cloud has been a little bit more quiet on the Sinclair. Obviously, still getting kills here and there, but it's been really the doorman plays at the end. If we were to give an MVP though, at least with the side of Nebraska, because again, the game's not over, but they are very close to the end, and they might be able to finish it off. Do you think it would be earned by Cloud here for the series?
I'm gonna have to go with, yeah, I do think Cloud would earn the MVP here, and for the main reason that Cloud has been doing a lot more than just damage in this match. Because having the Sinclair and having the versatility to grab lots of ults and a lot of support ults, because again, George Mason's team is a lot of very powerful support ults. Like you got Dome, you got Fly, you got I don't know what Abrams' ult is called, but the Big Slam. That's a good example. A lot of powerful ults to grab. And I think Cloud has been doing a really good job of being able to utilize all these resources that the George Mason comp has afforded him.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing a lot with it, and that's why I believe he deserves MVP.
All right, well, I like it. Right now, we have gotten word that there has been a little bit of a technical issue on Cloud's end, so we will most likely send to a short break. Hopefully, they're able to tailor it and get it finished up, but either way, we'll see how it goes. Don't go anywhere. The end of this matchup will be coming very shortly, at least for game number 2. Let's see if they can bounce back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
And off we go. This is the finish that you wanted. Thank you very much for joining us. We had a very, very short pause, and you can see Cloud had a blue screen, but that does not stop where the game is currently at. Quick slam with the death slam, throws two more backwards, and that might actually be a huge dub. University of Nebraska-Lincoln get thrown into the slammer right away. Off that pause, it feels like George Mason were ready for it. They will try their best to fight back. However, there's a lot of weight against them as well. Woody Seth saying I can DPS just as well, but that's 3 gone in the blink of an eye. Nebraska Esports off the pause, surprise in so many ways as the Patriots fight for their freedom here in Game 2.
I spoke too soon. I truly did not expect this to be happening. There's no way they get... No way. I spoke too soon. This is a huge opportunity for George Mason University to claw back their way into this game. They have a long way to crawl, but that is certainly a good way to get your foot in the door. I think that's a walker, 100%.
Yeah, that was chaotic to say the least, but so much space being taken. Look, Nessie even able to find Woody once more. No, not like this. They're going to try and hold it back. What a catch by Sinclair. Can you find any other bodies, though? It's a little bit too hard. Nebraska Esports, they still have members lost. The Patriots, there they go. Sometimes he's able to find a mark. This Mirage is finally getting some value. Quick tornado forward. The chase is on. Good flyby out. Keeping your DPS healthy and safe.
Is this the same team? This is extraordinary gameplay from George Mason. I'm rejuvenated. I'm awake fully. This is incredible. Ooh, I'm speechless. I don't know what's gonna happen next now.
I mean, we can't talk about the fact that this isn't over, right? Like, obviously, Nebraska Esports is still very strong, as we can see here once more. They're going to lock away one more into the bucket, even though it was a valiant fight at the end, though. George Mason University have now lost 2 members, and it feels like Nebraska Esports say, we might have stumbled close to the end, but we will not be delayed of our victory. Another push coming in as the defenders are coming out of the base. Quick snipes coming in from the likes of Neptic, who looking a much stronger in this grave. Cloud will lock away Groovy Lemon. University of Nebraska-Lincoln saying, give us the kills, give us the glory, give us our victory here in the college deadlock playoffs, as they will move on to the semifinals in a 2-0 victory.
Good times. Fun times.
That was an exhilarating finish. That was a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, I agree. We came out of this and we kind of assumed that, hey, you know, George Mason, they don't really have the souls, they don't have the weaponry, they don't have the inventory, and they don't have a way back out. And it does feel during that pause, they kind of gathered themselves and they said, hey, if we're going to lose in a big way, and we're going to slam it. And they did. Huge win by them, but at the end of the day, it was still the overall game that mattered more. You can see here for the Hidden Kings, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Cloud once again snagging MVP.
Well, I'm glad to say I predicted that one.
Yeah, I mean, same. That's what we expected. Secondary behind, obviously, Stromo on the Lady Geist. Most kills in the game. 42,000 player damage as well. Beautiful work in all aspects. And I think for University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I think they can be very, very proud of the show that they put on here today. Eyes out, though. Navyblue, question for you. In your opinion, were you impressed by how Nebraska Esports played tonight?
I was impressed with the first game, and the second game was still impressive to look at, but I felt like there was a few more flaws, a few more chinks in the armor that were exploited at some points, and I worry that these gaps will not be fixed in time for finals. I'm quite certain, though, that all of these will be rectified in due time, because I believe in Nebraska Esports and the ability that they have to close out this tournament.
Okay, well, I can sit there and agree with you just as well. My eyes are looking forward, as it seems that all the top seeds are so far making their way here through the college deadlock playoffs. Now remember, for George Mason University, they will have a second chance in the lower bracket to see if they can pull things off, but at the current moment, they are locked out of the upper bracket. That'll also be the end of the night here today for the broadcast side of things. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. My name is Orbital. With me has been Navyblue. We had an amazing array of production on the back end of this table. We had Icefireide on the production side. I believe we had Casual Knight on the observation. So big shout out to those two for making this amazing. Shout out to all the viewers that are tuning in, and make sure to stay tuned to all the socials to see when the next matches will be played. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.
See you around.